Well, let's go back to the top story now. The presidency has confirmed that the ambulance transporting ailing former President Nelson Mandela broke down while on his way to hospital 2 weeks ago. For more details, we'll be joined on the line by presidency spokesperson Mac Maharaj. It's unclear at the moment if we're going to speak to him now or just after the break, but do stay with eNCA because I do hear that we have indication we'll be speaking to Mr. Maharaj right this minute. Mr. Maharaj, a very good morning to you. Thanks again for joining us. Can you confirm that the ambulance Madiba was traveling in 2 weeks ago exactly had indeed broken down on the side of the highway?
Yeah, I can confirm the incident because on the 8th of June, the early hours of the morning when former President Mandela was being transported from his home to a hospital in Pretoria, he was in a fully equipped military ICU ambulance and that his convoy had a full complement of specialist medical staff, including intensive care specialists and ICU nurses. The convoy also included 2 quick response vehicles. When the ambulance experienced engine problems, it was decided that it would be best to transfer him to another military ambulance, and that military ambulance was itself accompanied for the rest of the journey by a civilian ambulance. I appreciate the concern caused by this story, and I want to assure the public that from the presidency side, we are assured by the doctors that all care was taken to ensure that former President Mandela's medical condition was not compromised by this incident, and the doctors attending to him are satisfied that Madiba suffered no harm during this period and as a result of this incident.
For how long had the ambulance been on the side of the road, Mr. Maharaj, before the second vehicle came along?
I don't want to go into the details of the transfer, how long, how many minutes, because all that happens is it creates a system of hysteria around those details. What we have the assurance is that the medical staff were top specialists accompanying full complement of intensive care specialists and nurses. No compromise was made, and they would have done it with all the care on that highway to ensure no interruption to traffic, no undue incident.
I appreciate the fact that, my apologies to interrupt you there. I appreciate the fact that from a medical perspective, he was not left stranded when it comes to the specialists on board, but perhaps was Madiba and the physicians on board the vehicle at the time, were they not vulnerable because of the position that they were in?
Not at all. All the precautions are taken again. You know, even in an ordinary accident on the highway, straight away all sorts of triangles, and there was a full convoy transporting the former president. They would be able, for a reasonable distance behind the convoy, to ensure that no traffic came on into that pathway. They would have ensured clearance. All those things would be done. So I don't want to go into those details because, as I say, it becomes sensational. And we are walking into an area of issues around issues of ethics, issues of dignity of the person. And we need to be a little bit cautious here. So you have the full assurance. No question an incident arose, and that incident was managed properly. No harm to the patient. That was the top priority. He was accompanied by a full complement of medical staff on hand, and this included intensive care specialists and ICU nurses.
If I may interrupt you once again, Mr. Maharaj, could this incident not have been foreseen somehow? How was it that a vehicle that had engine problems was allowed to transport a man of Madiba's stature?
The vehicle experienced an engine problem. No one could predict that that would happen. It happens in life. And all the steps were taken.
That's totally correct. But will there be an investigation into this?
That is a matter attended to by the Defense Medical Force medical staff. They know their scores. They know whatever they would investigate, sort out the vehicle problems, and see the whys and the wherefores. But again, this is a matter that is routine. Nobody can predict that a fully functional vehicle would not have a breakdown on the way. It's a type of thing that happens. That is how accidents happen in this world.
Mr. Maharaj, so much to get through this morning. Reports also coming in from an international news agency that the indication that Dr. Madiba is actually responding well to treatment, which is a statement that you have echoed. Former President Thabo Mbeki, President Jacob Zuma, and in fact the Madiba family echoing those sentiments that Dr. Madiba is responding well to treatment. A news agency saying that those suggestions are far from the truth. What do you have to say to that this morning?
This is unfortunate because there are stories being carried in some of the media. Some say that is on the critical verge, some say is improving, but we know that your authoritative information is coming from the presidency. We've indicated that, and it is based on reports that the president receives from the doctors. Our statements have been very clear. It would be reckless of any government around the fate of former President Mandela to be telling lies. This would be a highly reckless incident. And for people to carry these stories unsourced and creating a sensation as if to say there is a knife-edge situation is to actually say the presidency is lying. Now, it's not just the presidency. You have had many individuals also giving their own views, all of them in line with what the presidency has been saying. So, I cannot go down the road of having to have a fight with a particular news agency around their versions of what they are putting. But what I can appeal for, and I've always appealed, Madiba has all his life fought for our dignity. Here he is ill. Let us not use his illness to surround his illness with undignified spectacles. Secondly, let us not tread into the area of medical ethics. This is an area that we need to steer very carefully. So my appeal is, let us understand that you get authoritative briefings from the presidency. That is your reliable information, and we stand by the reports that we have given from the day he entered the hospital.
So, Mr. Maharaj, as an authoritative source, you can confirm that the reports that I'm about to read out are in fact incorrect, that reports that his liver and kidney are functioning only at 50% and that he's unresponsive. I think you would be doing an injustice to recycle an unverified report on air. And in order for me to give you a denial, I am appealing to you and eNCA. Let's do things in a dignified way. Do not take a story that is totally at odds with this to now recycle it. I don't think that is right. This is in a bid to get to the truth, Mr. Maharaj. But before we leave, and I do again thank you for your time, when will Dr. Madiba be discharged? What are you hearing?
I have no information, and I have said again, no doctor would tell me in advance, even at the presidency, that we will discharge him on X day. Their position is they are treating him when they are satisfied that he can be discharged, that his condition has improved to that point. Then the question of discharge arises.
We'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining us, presidential spokesperson there, Mac Maharaj. Well, let's take a quick break right now. We'll be back at least with more local and international news after the break.
News that moves. eNCA.com.